Hi, and welcome back to Mighty Little Green Machine. Today is absolute beautiful day here in New Hampshire. It's in the high 70s, there's no humidity, got a breeze, it almost feels like fall. There's plenty of tractor work I could and probably should be doing, but I had talked to you in the first video that I made about the fact that I would share what I went through starting my side business, Mighty Little Green Machine Yard Services, and kind of walk you through the steps that I'm going through, things I'm learning as I do it, and it's kind of progressing along pretty nice right now. The first two estimates I did, I got the jobs. I'll be doing those in the next couple of weeks, and I'll be filming them and showing them to you. I went and looked at another job today that I have to put an estimate together on, and I'm waiting for an answer back on a fourth job. So all pretty quick. Two of the jobs, actually what could be three of the jobs, I actually got from my neighbors that they were watching my new grass come in, and they kept starting to talk to me, and gradually they started asking me if I did side work, and so I talked to them, and those are going to be good jobs because they're literally right down the street. There's no transport time. I won't be burning any gas to get it back and forth or anything like that. And then the other one that I went to look at today actually came off of, I have a $5 a month Craigslist ad that I have up that generated its first real lead today. So you want to start a side business. First thing you got to decide is, do I want to do it under the table or do I want to do it legally and above board? That's a choice that you have to make. I thought about both and decided that it's just not worth the risk to me at this point in my life to get in trouble with the government or taxes or any of that stuff. So I decided to go 100% above board and actually start a legal business. So the first thing that I did is I picked a name, Mighty Little Green Machine. And I've actually changed that name a little, and I'll explain that as we go. But so I picked the name, and then I went and checked on my state website to see if that name was available. And it was. So then I went to buy the domain name or see if the domain name was available so that I could have a website. I happen to use GoDaddy.com, but there's plenty of other options out there. So when I checked, yes, in fact, the domain name was available. So right then and there, I applied for the license from the state, and I purchased the domain name Mighty Little Green Machines. Machine. So you want to make sure that you check all these things because you're going to want to have a website, and it would be a shame if you've got a business name that you wanted but then the domain name wasn't available. Now, there were other options available other than .com. There were different this, and this. I happen to personally prefer to have a .com, and I really don't want to be a different whatever if someone's already got .com and is using it, because that just, to me, would create too much confusion. So I've now got a domain name. I got approved for the state license. I created a website using GoDaddy. There's a million different ways you can do it. I happen to be using them for hosting, and I used it to build the site. I am by no means a website designer, but I just simply don't have the funds to pay someone to do it. I got a price of $800 to set up the website, which, to be honest, is a good price, but I just, this is a side gig, and I can't be spending a ton of money on it. So now I've got a state license, and I've got a website. What do I do next? So you need to have, you got to have a bank account of some sort, right? You got to have some way to be able to track your money. Now, you can legally use your personal checking account or savings account for your business as well. I do not recommend it. It gets to be too much trying to keep track of what's what. So there are a ton of options for online-only banks or even other banks where there's zero fees. They actually pay interest. And I was actually able to open one at a company called Blue Vine Banking with no money. I didn't have to even put any money in it yet. So I set up my banking account, okay? at this point, you're going to need a way to take money. Now, you can just take cash or checks. That's entirely up to you. I've decided to also accept credit and debit cards, although I'm still deciding whether I'm going to charge an additional fee. It costs me 2.59% for every credit card or debit card transaction to put money into my account. So I haven't decided on that. I mean, my hope is that I can actually do more check and cash. The difference is that you got a chance of a check bouncing. So that's just something you got to decide. So then I had to decide, how am I going to keep track of the business? How am I going to do estimates? How am I going to track my income and expenses? How am I going to do all that? Now, I've done a bunch of research and I looked at a bunch of different softwares, and I've come to find out that it's kind of expensive to have a software that will allow you to estimate and keep track of the jobs and do all of that. And I really don't need it. I mean, I'm not looking to do, if I do one job a week, that would probably be a lot. So I didn't need any of that. But I did want accounting software. It's just my preference. So I ended up going with QuickBooks. And when I set QuickBooks up, because I chose not to use their estimating feature, it's $30 a month, but they have an opening offer of $15 a month. So I went with that. I set up the company. I've loaded all my equipment into it. And any of these things I'm talking about, if you want more information or you want me to do a video on something specific or show you what I've done on the computer, leave me a note down in the comments. I will certainly make a video on that for you or answer any questions that you have. I decided for estimating, I was just going to use a spreadsheet. I went online and I went into Excel and found a free construction estimating spreadsheet that I modified to turn into a spreadsheet for my company to do it the way I want to do it. So I got my spreadsheet set up. I added my logo in. I put all my information in it. You're able to put the customer's information in it. And I can now build estimates for the customer using the spreadsheet, which costs nothing. So the way I do it is I go out and look at a job. I take pictures if I need to, depending on what I'm doing. If I need materials especially, I take measurements. And then I let the customer know that I'll get back to them in a day or two. I try to do it same day, but with their estimate. And then they make a decision and we go from there. Payment processing, we talked about that a little. So I'm doing it right through QuickBooks. And because of the way I'm able to do it, I'm able to actually send a link to the customer where they can pay with a credit card. It's a one-time link. And again, I just pay the 2.59% processing fee if they use it. But this way, I don't need a credit card machine or a swipe or a Square or whatever, so it saves me money. So I was pretty happy about that. I did learn about that. The next step now is, okay, I'm getting some work and I need insurance. I have come to find out that when you're starting a new business, especially when you're going to be using equipment, it is difficult to find insurance. So it actually took me 5 different companies of trying before I finally found a company that would insure me. It ended up costing me $130 a month. I don't know if that's good or not, but it doesn't really matter because I have to have insurance. So that gives me $1 million in liability. If I knock a tree into someone's house or whatever, it covers me up to $1 million, which to me is coverage well worth it. Now, in my case, I won't be doing any work during the winter, so I'll be shutting my insurance off. I'll be shutting my insurance off during the winter. So, I learned something new yesterday. It came up by accident. I believe that I was supposed to register my business also with my town. I don't know. I stopped by today to ask at the town hall what I need to do for that. It probably would have been good for me to know that in the beginning. Again, I'm learning, and that's why I want to do these videos, so you guys can hopefully avoid some of the pitfalls that I'm doing. But So I'll go down to see the town on Tuesday when they reopen and find out. I mean, essentially all I'm doing is housing my office and my equipment at my house. It's not, I don't have a special building. It's not a commercial property. I'm not doing any business here. I don't have customers come here. So I don't anticipate it being a problem, but it might cause me a problem. But we'll see, and I'll do a quick short afterwards to kind of update you on that and let you know. I'm not sure if I missed anything, but that's kind of an overview of where we're at so far. So I've got banking, I've got insurance, I've got a business, a registered business, I've got a website. I started talking about the website. So I ended up buying another domain name, Mighty Little Green Machine Yard Services, because I decided I wanted to convert the first domain, Mighty Little Green Machine, into a website that complements and promotes my YouTube channel. So I bought the second domain, and now I have two different websites. One is dedicated 100% to my business, which is Mighty Little Green Machine Yard Services, and one's that's dedicated 100% to my YouTube channel and that type of thing. I just thought it would be too confusing for everybody if I tried to do it all on one website. So it did cost me a little extra money. Hopefully this brought you some good information, and I will talk to you soon.